Hello, paper florists. Welcome to Paper Talk December 2020. Today we are going to make some pine sprigs, and I've made a whole bunch of them here out of green, and I made some with shorter fronds on it and some with longer, and I have to tell you, I think I like the longer. And I've seen some of it online, and I just did this little piece to kind of throw in. I did some online, or I saw some online, and I saw that the cuts were good and everything, but they hadn't really given it that rough look. So we're going to try to do that today. And we are going to need to start our project. I'm going to do, who says the pine has to be green? Nobody. So I'm going to do some with white because I think it's going to look really pretty in with the green. And I'm also going to be doing a tutorial on how to take all the flowers that we made this year and put them into an arrangement. So this part of the greens and things that we're going to put in is the extra filler for the arrangement. So it's going to be really cool. So thanks. Don't forget to join me for that. So we need our paper. This is a 180 gram white paper from Cartafini Cartotecnica Rossi. We're going to need some glue and some scissors and of course some wire. And I'm going to use maybe a 20 gauge wire. And this one's pretty long. It's probably about 16, 18 inches long. So I'm going to cut off a piece to make as an additional piece. So when you do it like this, you have the pieces that are going to come off the side. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to cut another piece just for fun. And I'm going to just cut this one in half-ish. Okay, so we got our wires, we've got our paper, and we've got our scissors. So the first thing we're going to do is we're just going to cut a piece of a strip of the crepe paper, probably about 6 to 8 inches wide, all the way up the top. Now, the one thing, and I should get a ruler for this, the one thing that I think is important for this project is to make all of your fronds the same length, I guess, tall. So I have found that 2 to 2.5 inches gives me some really full, realistic looking pine sprigs. So I'm just going to cut this at, say, 2.5 inches. It doesn't have to be really exact, but be close. I'm just going to cut this entire strip, because I have to tell you, it always takes a lot more than you think it's going to take. Okay, so I'm going to set that aside. Set aside my scissors and my wire cutters and my ruler. Don't need that for now. And we are going to start with our white crepe paper, and we're going to take these strips and we're just going to stretch them out as much as you can, all the way. And this paper stretches really nicely around the ends. And then we're going to, the one thing this project's going to do for you is it's going to really increase your fringing skills. So I'm going to cut this in half just to make it easier to work with. And I'm going to just take it. It's going to make it much quicker. You can do this any way that you want, but this works for me. So I'm going to cut my side pieces here all the way down. And we want this fringe to be pretty long, so you can do it any way that you want, but you need to have some to, stick to the wire to hold it all on. And just fringe it as best you can. This doesn't have to be your best fringe, but this is really a way for you to be able to really work on your fringing techniques. And I'm a pretty quick fringer. This isn't my best fringing job by any stretch of the imagination. There you go. And then we're going to take this piece, fold it up. This is where the magic happens. We're just going to spindle this. and then rub it in our hands just to make it rough, because it is rough. Okay, we're just gonna set that aside and we'll do the next one. Now, a lot of people that I know will use a clip to hold their paper. And if that works for you, that's fine. Me personally, I don't find usually that I need to do that. And you're going to end up with some extra pieces just because your cutting isn't going to always be straight. And what I do when I fringe is I simply hold, I don't really move my scissors. I move my thumb and my finger. So I'm just moving this. I'm moving it along my hand, resting the tip of my scissors on my hand. So we're going to spindle this one. And I won't do all of these on camera, but you get the idea. I'll show you my fringing one more time. There we go. And the length of your fringe is entirely up to you. You can do it short, you can do it long, you can do it any way you want. I just find that this works really well for me. So you can see I've got my scissors resting on my fingers, and I'm just moving it forward like this. I'm just moving. So the only thing I'm really moving is the paper. Spindle, rough it up. This kind of breaks down the paper a little bit and gives it a really nice feel. One last time, and then you can make yours and I'll make mine, and we will come back and continue. Kind of prefer to do it this way. Here we go. So you can see I'm getting some pretty fine fringe here. And all I'm doing is just moving my thumb and this is going to be great practice for you to work on your fringing skills. Like I said, it doesn't need to be perfect. It's very forgiving. It's just going to look really pretty with our big pine cone that we made. Okay, so I'll continue to do mine, you do yours, and we will come back and finish up. Okay, so we're back. I spindled these pieces, and these may not be enough to do an entire sprig, but we're going to get started on it. So I'm just going to pull these out and stretch them out just a little bit, and I'm going to lay them all out. I went ahead and cut mine in full pieces, but I think if you're new to fringing, that you may not want to do that, and that's why I showed you that cutting it in half and doing a smaller strip. Just gonna lay them all out. See, here's one of the shorter ones that we did. Another really kind of cool idea to do is, before you do your fringing, to maybe use pinking shears and cut the edges here. And it does have a tendency to make them look not quite so straight. Just lay them all out so we can work pretty quickly. So these are pretty quick projects. Heck, you could probably do these sitting down watching TV. I want to watch the Queen's Gambit. I haven't seen that yet, but the reviews on it have been incredible. So we're going to take our first piece and we're going to just put a couple of drops. We're just going to put a bead of glue on here. And it doesn't have to, I usually just dip it on, dab it on. But you could put more glue on there if you want. So we're going to start with our long piece. This is going to be this long piece of the branch. And I'm just going to start by giving this a twist on the top and starting to build up that piece. And I'm just going to keep going like this. And the quicker you go down the branch on a piece is you're going to have the sparser. Let's see if I have some here. See, like this is just really, really tight on it. And so I'm going to make it not quite so tight on this one. And just roll that on there. And I think that the fact that we spindled this paper really, gosh, I'm not really going down fast enough, really gives it a more natural look. There we go. Okay, go to the next one. Do the same thing. And this is kind of messy. You are going to get glue on your hands. I mentioned this before. I keep baby wipes on my workspace to help alleviate some of that. Now we're just going to go down here a little more. So I'm going down at a little bit of an angle. So that I'm going down. And you want to keep that pace about the same, or you'll end up with a real wonky looking piece. This can be hard on your hands. You're going to need to take some breaks with this because it does put stress on your hands. And your hands are your most important tool. So we want to take good care of them. Okay, and then we're going to do one more of these long ones. Well, this short one too. You know, another cool thing to do would be to take some white, some of that flocked, Christmas tree flocking stuff. And you could spray on one of your green ones, and you can flock it. And you can make these out of any color that makes you happy. Just get it on there good and tight. And just keep rolling down. Now, I'm going to stop right here with that. And the reason we're going to do that is we want to have these other pieces that come in. So I'm going to take this and just start wrapping this one. So glue right on the edge there. And we're going to just go round and round and round just to get it started. We're going to do the same thing. And you just make sure you get it glued on there, because nothing is worse than finishing this, giving it a tug, and having it come off of your stem. So I think a paper covered wire works best for this, or a cloth covered wire, some kind of covered wire. If you're using bare wire, I would suggest that you wrap your wire first with something so that your sprig has something to hold on to. I'll take another small one here. We're gonna do the same thing. That's kind of a monotonous job, but this is a job that you can do in assembly line fashion really easily. See, I'm going down just a little lower than the last row. I'm just going to keep doing that. Oop. And if you rip it, it's okay, keep going. Okay, then I'm going to grab this other one. I'm not going to use this little small piece here. And I'll take one of these smaller ones. Start twisting it on there. I didn't get that quite on there. It's quite as tight as I should, but it's going there now. Do the next one. You see, I got glue all over my hands. Like I said, I promise you, your hands will get covered with glue on this one. Keep going down the stem a little at a time. Okay, so now we're going to join our stems. And I know that there are some boughs that do this a little differently than others. So we're going to do this in a couple of steps. Okay, so we're going to take these two and we're going to join them. We're just going to leave off, just pick up where we left off, only we're doing two stems at the same time. It might take you a little bit of time to get that going the way you want it. But that's good. See how full it looks? And like I said, I'm not getting this down enough. Like I said, depending on how tight you make it, will depend on how full it is. So now we're going to take our next to the last one. This is going to work out perfectly, I think. And you never know how much paper you're going to need because you're going to wrap a little differently every time. That's just human nature. Okay, so we're going to take this one. We're going to go down a little bit here. We're going to do the same thing. Pick up right there where we left off. And we're just going to go down. And because we're going to be making an arrangement with this, I'm not going to go all the way down the stem. So you see I went a little smaller in here. And if you look at a pine branch, that's really kind of how it goes. You can make it tighter if you wanted. Okay. And then you've got your branches. Isn't that pretty? And then to finish it off, what I would do is another strip here. Come in here and just wrap the rest of the stem. You can use floral tape for this. I have a love-hate relationship with floral tape. I don't use it very often. It definitely has its places, but not my favorite. I really prefer doing it this way. And then bring it up. Oops, there we go. And secure that. There we go. I didn't do a very good job. I'm sure you'll do a better job. Because I didn't do a very good job, I want to secure all this. I'm going to take a little bit of glue. I'm going to wrap that on there really tight. This is not going to show. We're going to put this in our arrangement. So there you have it. And then you can take your scissors and come in and flick this out. And I think that the spindling method that we used really gives this life. Unlike, I've seen quite a bit on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, all those places, that they don't spindle it. And I think it really makes a difference. And I'm just going to take and add in our pine cone that we made earlier. And can you imagine, let's think about how pretty this would look on a package if you did this. And then, oh, of course, you put on this, so it's tighter than what I can do just holding it here. And you could get that on there. Wouldn't that make a beautiful topper? I have not sprayed this pine cone yet, but I'm going to. This is going to be a real open kind of pine cone. And I'm going to spray it with a little bit of, I'm going to come in first with a little black Design Master just to give it dimension. And I'm going to finish it off with some either copper or gold, hitting just the tips. And I'll hit it like, just, that's all it's going to take, just like that. So there you have it. There's our pine sprig. And doesn't that look really pretty? And that'll look pretty on your tree. That'll look pretty in the arrangement. Look pretty no matter what you would do with it. And I'm sure it's gorgeous. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channels if you enjoy the tutorials that we do for you. Christina and I have been doing most of them lately. We will be bringing in, for January, we're bringing in a guest artist. It's going to be pretty exciting. I think you're really going to love it. So thanks so much for joining us on Paper Talk Community. I know you'll have a wonderful holiday season with all of your handmade gifts. Thanks so much.